Procedural generation, random and infinite possibilities. At what point does a game feel stretched thin, like butter over too much bread? Let's chat about it in the comments, but first, my opinion. I'm Tarmack, and this is Feature Creep. I have a healthy cynicism about No Man's Sky. It's the same cynicism I should have had about Cube World before the developer vanished into the nether. It's quite simple. I lacked the ability to be excited about computer-generated content. I've been burned too many times by the promise of infinite content to ever believe any developer touting how amazing their new procedurally generated game will be. For the layman, procedural generation in video games is generally referring to the idea of the computer itself manufacturing game levels, encounters, monsters, items on the fly rather than using specifically developer-designed assets. In Grand Theft Auto V, those streets were manually modeled and placed by a developer. The middle ground is something along the lines of Diablo 3 Adventure Mode, where areas are broken into tile sets that the game can arrange randomly or semi-randomly to give an air of newness to an old art asset. And the more extreme of procedural generation would be a game like Minecraft, where the rules for generation are much more broadly defined. Effectively, procedural generation is the developer setting up the rules that the game must live by. This area always appears next to an area of this general type. Areas of this general type will have 4 crates of this other type, and they'll be placed no closer than 50 feet from one another, etc., etc., etc. Procedural generation rule sets get quite complicated as the developer tries to refine and improve the overall experience. When a game instance is designed not by a human but by a computer, you as the player can tell. You can feel it in how the game plays, that sense of randomness, lack of reason behind area design, item placement. Even in a game where the rule set is meticulously designed by people, the actual gameplay experience is obviously heavily influenced by the procedural generation. I can't play and enjoy Minecraft either, at least not without other people or playing actively designed mods. The base Minecraft solo experience just feels too thin to me. But then the success of Minecraft was never because of its solo experience, but rather because of the easy customization and multiplayer. What do I mean by thin? I like content. Genuine, human-designed content. This is why I was overly gushing in praise for The Witcher 3. It is a game absolutely overflowing with content, and not the boring spreadsheet kind of content we get used to from games like Oblivion or Fetch Quest Storylight drivel from World of Warcraft. The Witcher 3 had handcrafted plots all the way down from the largest main story quest to a basic missing persons quest. In each case, the quests were well written and felt like it had a real purpose in the world. But even games like The Witcher often use procedural generation for things like grass and other plant placement or encounters. On the other hand, there are some genres that work quite well with procedural generation. The problem is that they tend to be the smaller games, often roguelikes. Binding of Isaac, for example, uses a procedural generation system in level design which is quite effective. The difference, however, and reason that it works is because of the item design and progression associated with item unlocks that consistently increases the chaos of each playthrough. So, back to No Man's Sky. The hype train is in full force on this little game. It has space flight in combat, atmospheric flight in combat, ground movement in combat, crafting, and on and on. It's a big open galaxy that if you pointed your ship towards the center would take you 40 to 100 hours of staring at the screen to get there. There are so many planets you'll never run out of things to explore and discover. So why am I cynical about it? Why am I not excited? Because it's a game based on flying around a galaxy entirely pieced together by the computer. I have no confidence that any of the exploration discoveries will make any sense. Big long-necked dinosaur-type creature? Does the planet have plenty of tall trees to match? No? That's the kind of thing that yanks my immersion out like a tablecloth being pulled just a little too slowly. And when I'm done exploring that planet, I get to go do it all again. But why? What am I looking for? You could put together an amazing computer AI capable of assembling novels from the dictionary complete with correct grammar and even pre-built plot lists, and it would still come out less than with the care and attention of a proper author. The same is true in video games over prolonged experiences. No Man's Sky is going to be an amazing success and a huge letdown to the massive group of people who are so hyped to play it. Problem is, they don't want to admit it because their heads are in the stars. The poor, boring, procedurally generated stars. If I'm not bored by 4 planets in, I'll be surprised. What do you think of the No Man's Sky concept? Obviously, I'm somewhat jaded against the procedural content, but I'd like to discuss it with you. Thanks for watching. That's all I have to say. Tarmack out.